There we go. So inviting you just to stand in your QiGong posture. Let your feet root down into the ground. Especially if you're outside, that's great. Soften your knees, your ankles, let your tailbone drop down so that your lumbar spine lengthens as you're standing there. Feel the length of your spine as you tuck your chin in, your cervical spine, your neck extends upwards, head is lifted upwards as if you had a star string here. And tiny gap under the axilla there, opening, feeling that you're wide at the same time as that you're long, and a little bit of gap at the groin. And as you drop into where you are at the moment, just have a sense of how your bodies feel. Maybe lightly close your eyes. Notice where your breathing is. Notice whether your body feels light or heavy, grounded. Your mind's buzzing or it's quiet. Just take a little inventory. No judgment, just notice. And so what I thought we could think about as we do our QiGong this evening is, what does your body, mind, and emotions need from a class today? So if you were doing a class, if you're doing a couple of movements yourself, if you were feeling very energized and it was time to go to sleep, then you'd choose something which was calming, like maybe water waves or deep breathing with extended exhale. If you're feeling very sleepy and it was lunchtime and you still had to go and work, or in the morning and you couldn't quite wake up, you might do some chi massage, knocking on the chest, knocking on the kidney, particularly to bring up your serotonin and your, what are we talking about here? your adrenaline, bring up your adrenaline to wake you up. And you might do some quite vigorous movements just to wake yourself up. If you were very angry, you would want to do clearing, a lot of clearing stuff. If you were really sad, you'd want to do a lot of lung work, bringing the oxygen circulated around. So QiGong means becoming skillful with the qi. So noticing how your qi is gives you the opportunity to kind of shape your own practice for each particular time that you're doing it. And when I thought about what would I do, I haven't done a class for about 2 weeks, and I've just come from the magnificence and the abundance in the universe as we paddled on the Orange River. The huge blue sky, the big mountains, the flowing river, still pools, the rocks where you suddenly have to get your head right so that you don't crash into them. Suddenly you need this clarity and on the ball. And then the quiet times when you find a bit of shade in the middle of the heat of the day. The soft times when people mill around and just talk around the fire, which is very, very hard time. And just noticing all these different ways that one could be during the day. And being so close into nature, feeling the ground beneath your feet, sitting on the ground, really earthing, and at the same time being aware of this massive expansive universe above and around you. And waking up with the sun, noticing that at that time, the day is beginning, you're completely different to going to bed at nightfall and going to that deep sleep as the sun leaves the sky and the moon comes out. So I kind of had a sense of needing to not hold on to that incredible experience that you have, but having had that experience, I think one of the things that left me with was noticing how much more fully one can live one's life, whether it's breathing, whether it's through movement, activity, quiet, but all of those things, we can go more deeply into it, whether it is like working really, really hard against the wind, or whether it's really sinking into the shade and going to the deep relaxation. Because very often we live our life kind of sometimes in the middle, so we never really relax. We're never really joyful. we're never really sad, but to allow ourselves to experience all these different aspects that are out in nature. And as we become a little bit separated from nature, we don't automatically get those experiences anymore. So I thought to begin, I'd get a couple of exercises that for me keep me in that space of opening and feeling space, feeling warmth of the heart, feeling community, the tribe, all these things that are so rich in our lives. So let's start with tiger, getting up in the morning. And because we were out in the mountains, I thought much more of the leopard than the tiger. And if you're in South Africa, let's be leopards. So leopard's waking up in the morning and is going to stretch his shoulders and his arms. And you're going to have a spiral around. You've got little claws here, so spiral around. And then lifting, as you lift, almost feel as if you're taking a t-shirt off with your skins lengthening, come right up to the sky, opening through the shoulders, open, and then do a spiral here as well. Spiral, come back in, and your claws come down to little hollow fists as you come down. Notice how your whole body is part of this movement. So you're sinking your ankles, sinking your knees, spiral, and you're lifting up through the knees, through the hips, through the waist, through the ribs, through the shoulders, through the elbows, right up to the wrists, and spiral to get the ends of the movement, all little corners of the movement that you can get there. Coming down, feel your body sinking. It's sinking from the top down, closing through the ribs, closing through the waist, closing through the hips, and sink it down through your knees. Spiral. Nature is full of spirals and irregularities when you have a look at it. Coming up, opening through the groin, opening through the belly, opening through the ribs, opening through the shoulders, through your neck, and into those little dusty corners. Get that spiraling coming in, that cleaning out the little corners. And of course, coming down is an out breath. Try and do an in and out through the nose. Coming up is going to be the in breath. And on. As you breathe out, you could do a little bit of a tiger breath, which means you kind of feel the sound coming through your throat as you breathe out. Breathing out. Breathing in. Lengthen your body, creating sound, creating space inside the body. And down. And relax. Okay, so having stretched, one of the things we were very aware of as we kayaked down the river was that your kayak stroke, if you want it to be strong, you have to go right through the waist to the opposite hip flexors, and the same thing here, right through the waist. And as you're coming forwards and back, you're using your pectorals, you're using latissimus dorsi, down the back, those muscles going all the way down to the buttock. So things just happening here is going to get you absolutely nowhere. You really, really need to turn through the waist. So thinking about the spine in the center, the movements going through, let's do knocking on the door of the life. As we do that, we're going to keep the spine straight, but we're going to get that turn going through the pelvis, through the hips. Just let your hands start off nice and floppy. And because your spine is turning, your arms are going to build up a little bit of momentum here. I've got an audience inside as well today as outside. Just easy breathing in and out through the nose, and slowly bring your hands up so they knock just below the navel in front. And on Ming Men, point at the back. which is just over the kidneys and the adrenal glands. And as you do this knocking, you're going to be waking up your body, getting a bit of serotonin, adrenaline into your body. And remember that your spinal cord and all your nerves are coming down the center. So as you do this, you're bringing some juice into your central nervous system, which is great first thing in the morning. So once you've woken up and you've stretched, you sort of prepare your body for the focus of the day, getting you more into sympathetic here than into parasympathetic. Okay, so we're working on the sea of energy in front, door of life at the back. Those sound very energizing. From there, let's go to lung 1 and 2 in shoulder nest, just below the collarbone where the shoulder comes out. And very good for immunity in the lungs. And from there, we go up to the angle of the neck. Same time as we work on the back, angle of the neck, over gallbladder 31, which is a point on your trapezius muscle. Trapezius muscle more commonly has trigger points than any other muscle in the body and gives you headaches when it's really tight. So it's seen as a point that gives you a clear mind. So as you relax this area, so you can think better. So it's a great place to come and do a bit of work. Back down to lung 1 and 2, beginning of the lung meridian. And back down to Ming Men and sea of energy in front. Feeling that your back is long, feeling that you're getting movement through the pelvis and the hips. Men in particular can be very stiff in the pelvis, so this is great for them to do. With women, we're often a little bit unstable here. Sometimes we've got too much movement, so we want nice strong back and buttock muscles to control that as we get older. And relax. Okay, so we've woken up the spine. We stretch through the body. Let's think about the trunk. We've got the feet grounded with gravity there. Just open the legs a little bit and let's do a side bend to each side. Feeling your weight going from one side to the other. Stretching your adductor muscles on the inside of the leg. So opening the side movement of the body. And a nice way to do that is to do it with a bit of swimming dragon. So hands together, palms together. Just in front of the heart level here. And as we go to the side, hips, head to one side, hands to the opposite side. So we're taking the middle side bend to the opposite side here. Slow it down so that you feel how one leg becomes empty, one leg becomes full. And as we go to the side, feel that you are bending, sinking down through the hip, that you're folding through the hip, not leaning forwards to get that action. Now you can sink down lower if you've got good knees and hips. Otherwise, just do what is comfortable to you. But when we slow the movement down, we have to work a lot harder with the control of the muscles. And as we found with camping, if you're having to crawl in and out of a tent and you have to get off the beach sand or the river rocks, you need a lot of strength to get your body up. So it's a very important thing for us to keep as we get older, is the ability to get up off the ground. Important for us to be on the ground. As we're doing this and we're moving the spine sideways, we are massaging the internal organs. They're all attached by fascia to the spine, to the fascia around the spine. And swimming dragon exercises are seen as being excellent for health and longevity. And relax. Shake out your feet a little bit. And today is kind of based on lessons from the river. Some of the lessons from the river, I won't give them all to you at once. But one is that your shoulders and your scapula and your thoracic spine and your movements all the way to the waist. This is Rooster spreading his wings, and we have. So feel that rotation going right through to the back, right through to the waist, to the opposite hip. If there are a couple of crunchy sounds, it just means you need to do a little bit more of it. If there's a lot of frank pain, then no, you don't need to be doing that. But the repetition of a movement in a comfortable range is very, very good for you. And if it's not 100% comfortable, but it's 95% comfortable, even 90% comfortable, then you stay with it and say, hey, if I do it a couple of times, does it ease up? Because when we repeat movements, the fascia warms up, and it allows us a little bit more movement, allowing that movement to go diagonally through the body, and it's coming in the opposite direction. And as we spoke about silk reeling when we did a joint class a while back, when we repeat movements through the joint, that lovely shiny lining of the joint produces synovial fluid, and that is what nourishes your joints. So when we're just sitting still in the car, no, don't get any much nourishment. And I couldn't believe the difference in paddling down the river with a back injury, an old arm injury, a bit of a croc knee. I felt absolutely perfect. And my first discomfort was when I sat for 10 hours in the car driving home. So the body loves movement. And forwards. So keeping the full movement through your joints is it's your safety net. It's like a little money in the savings account. Most of the time you don't need it, but when you need that movement, if you haven't got it, that's when you tear and you injure yourself. But if you have it, you just easily go into it and then go on down the river. So we want to have full movement through our joints. That means we've got the backwards, forward, sideways, but we've got the rotation as well. And we've got the backup support of the muscles further down the trunk, muscles of the hip for the shoulder, the muscles of the shoulder for the hip. Okay, right. Good. So we looked at the rotation of the spine. Let's add the rotation to the rotation of the spine, the diagonal balance, because when we walk, we're going through diagonals. And Great Bear is going to walk here. So one foot in front of the other, so that if you brought this foot through, it would not crash into your heel. So just feel that a little bit and get into position which is comfortable for you to rock backwards and forwards. So coming back, your toes come up, forwards, your heels come up. Nice balance there, nice rocking, feeling weight on the front, weight on the back. Okay, and Bear's big and lumbering, so he's going to, arms are going to go forwards and back as we go forwards and back. So just get a comfortable swinging, Bear's not in a hurry, but he's just doing a nice, easy, relaxed swinging here. And as he eases through his spine, and as you ease through your spine, you'll see that you'll be able to add in the end range of the movement, which is your rotation. So changing your weight, arm swinging. So we're getting a beautiful movement again, going through the shoulders, down through your pectoral muscles, cross to the opposite side of your oblique tummy muscles and down into your hip flexors and down the legs. And watch your breathing. Have nice deep breathing, maybe into the belly here, in and out through the nose. Being very aware of what your feet feel like on the ground. And once we get into a rhythm with our movement, there's very little strain on the body. And so we found, much to my surprise, that, once you've actually paddled for an hour and a half, you hardly feel it. You just carry on for the next hour and a half. And everything just loosens up and loosens up and loosens up and loosens up. And relax, shake it out a little bit. Let's go to the other side. One foot in front, one behind. Notice that you don't crash into your foot as you bring that one forwards. And initially just lunge backwards and forwards. As you come forward, you can bend the knee a little bit. Time. And when you're comfortable, allow your arms to come into the movement as well. Notice your breathing. Breath in one direction, breath out in the opposite direction. With more swing, feel your body strong, your center of your body strong, your spine strong, your hips come off your pelvis, come off the spine, your shoulders come off the clavicles, from the spine as well, and get your head turning to the side. Nice rotation through your waist. What are your eyes doing? Your eyes looking forwards? Are they focused? Taking in the path that you're walking, taking in the river that you're paddling down, being part of it. So when we're in nature and we're moving in nature and we are in the present, then we become part of nature. Get some more power into that. Just feel the strength of that movement, strength of your arms, strength of your legs, strength going through your spine. Get a little bit of more movement of the pendular movement of the arms. Notice where your feet are, how the weight changes from one side to the other. And you could do something like this. So, okay, just going to do it for 5 minutes. And if you're relaxing into it, the movement, you'd be able to do it. But if you're stiff somewhere, you would find out very quickly where you were a bit stiff. And relax. Good. So we've loosened up really from the outside. We've got the spine moving. We've got our lateral movements, our balance coming in as well. Let's think about getting a little bit more oxygen into the body. Our oxygen, the lungs are the first entry of qi into the body, the quickest way to get qi. So let's do some breathing. Let's do some belly breathing. So if we breathe all the way into the belly, the diaphragm pushes down, we get about a liter of air with each breath as opposed to a teacup. If we just do this, we can do them both. I can get my liter here and then fill up and fill up and fill up. Or I could just come over here. It depends what we want to do. Let's just think about breathing to the belly. As you do that, your ribs go out to the side. So it's a belt breath as well. And the ribs come out at the back. So you're actually filling into the kidney. So let's think about filling this whole sort of cylinder of the body down here. In through the nose and out through the nose. Breathing in. Feel your belly expand. Letting go, feeling your belly going back towards the spine. And we'll keep our practice a little bit into the parasympathetic part of the central nervous system, or the autonomic nervous system, should I say. So we'll exhale for longer than we inhale. Maybe exhale about 2 seconds longer than you inhale. Body goes into rest and digest mode. Tend and befriend. Put your hands at the side and see that the hands are being pushed out by the breath. Put the hands on your ribs at the back and see that your last ribs are expanding as you breathe in. Right, okay. So now we've got all this extra oxygen in. Let's circulate it through the body and open the lungs. Holding the ball, breathing in. Spiral past the clavicles and hold up the sky. Dropping the tailbone, tucking your chin in and opening up through those intercostal spaces at the sides of the ribs and breathing out through the nose. Holding a ball. Breathing in. Holding up the sky. And breathing out. Breathing in. When you get to the top, allow one hand to drop down. Push mountain, hold sky. And let's go over to the side, opening up the spaces between the ribs on the one side, squishing all the old air out of the other side. Breathe in. Little fingers spiral past each other. And breathe out. Back. One hand past the face, the other hand behind. Look behind you. And twisting through the waist to squeeze all the last old air out of the lungs. Coming to the center, breathe in. Hand past your face, look behind you, pushing both hands apart. Breathing in. And breathing out. And of course, the emotion that goes with the lungs is courage and inspiration. And change the physiology of the body by changing your breath. In. And breathe out. And bring your hands down to center. Shake it out a little bit. So one of the things going into the mountains, big blue skies, nature all around you, and you're very much in the moment, and you come back and it's like, okay, all these things at home, suddenly you've got 100 more things than you feel you need in your life that you need to do. Just so easy. Just getting up every day, paddling, food around the fire, sleeping all night. How much more did we need? And we had wonderful company as well, you know. But no doubt, if we stayed on the river for another 30 days, all sorts of other things would crop up. All right. Between the people's emotions and ways of doing things, and maybe, I don't know, holding the kayak or something like that. So as you come back, just remembering one thing is that our attitude to life, we can choose. We can choose our attitude to life and decide how we're going to play with the life we've been given, or the things that happen. So let's do parting the clouds, wrists, 3 fingers up, wrists crossed without touching, 1 foot forwards, and clearing the clouds. Basically, Clearing anything that's hazy that you don't need around there. Moving it out of your space. So when you do any clearing, breathe out through the mouth. Breathing in, rocking back, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. Feeling that you're lightening up the whole time as you let things go. I mean, the world is massive around you. There's lots of space for all the stuff that you don't need to hang on to. Back, other foot forwards, and clear. Maybe you want to lift your eyes up as you clear. That immediately improves your attention, your clarity. Opening your lungs, opening your heart and the lungs, both in that middle dantian area of the body. And recognizing our strength, Great Bear swims in the ocean. So widening your legs, sinking down if you can, folding your hips so that your bottom is going back, you're not going forwards, and swimming through the ocean. Okay, opening up and spiraling around. This is actually a lung flow. So if you look at the way your hands and arms are going, you are opening up from the shoulder nest all the way through to the thumb and the first finger, where your lung and your large intestine meridian starts and ends. Imagine what it's like to be a great bear that can swim in the ocean. Going to catch a salmon river, pulling. Start to develop the sensitivity that even when you move through air, you can actually feel the substance of the air as you would feel the substance of water. In and out through the nose. Going from that bear who is strong to the tiger. Hands facing down, opening. Back of the hands coming together. Riding up through the center of the body and pushing forwards, making a circle all the way around you. First part of the movement, embrace tiger, is embracing your courage and your strength. And the second part, return to the mountain, is recognizing your inner peace and the strength of that inner peace. This is an out breath. Through the mouth, in, breathe out. Breathe in all the way around you. This is your space. You're creating strong Wei Qi, strong emotional and physical immunity. Back the hands together in, push forwards, all the way around, feeling the space that's around you. Remember, our body is only, the physical body is only about the size of your little finger. All the rest of your body is just empty space and energy. It's chi around. So when we're moving around here, we're kind of moving around our own body, only we can't see it. In, out, all the way around. Bring your feet in together. And let's finish with pulling down the heavens. So arms to the side. Feel the pull of the gravitational force as you lift your hands up through your fingers. Big opening of the palms to feel nature all around you. Reach out to the forests, the deserts, other ends of the world, up towards the stars that you can't see in the night, but they're there. They come out every night, but they've been there all the time. And slowly coming down through the front of your body, bringing anything that you need from the universe into your own sphere as you do that. Lifting up, feeling the earth. Gravity keeps you on the planet. Opening up to nature, which represents the trees, the animals, man himself, and then the universe being the yang side, but also the source of more spiritual or wisdom, enlightenment to us. And we all need to bring a little bit of that into our lives from time to time. Breathing in, breathing out, big turn, breathing in. And just feel as if there's a cleansing waterfall of, I don't know, bioelectricity coming down, biomagnetism coming down from the stars all the way through our mind, your emotions, and our physical body and hands, just below your navel. And close your eyes for 2 seconds. Notice your feet on the ground. Notice the breeze on your skin if you're outside, or just the temperature in the air around you. And allow your breath just to be long, slow, and deep. Allow your body just to sway in the breeze, bamboo in the wind. Drop your hands. Slowly open your eyes. Take a couple of steps just to come back into this little spot that you started from about 30 minutes ago. And thank you for coming to QiGong this evening. It's been lovely to have you, and have a great week.